Welcome to cannibalism. Welcome to Tokyo Ghoul. I've seen this anime way back in its peak, so I'm watching this with 2 times speed just to get the gist out of it on how the story goes. Watching 2 times speed maybe is a crime, but hey, it's my video so I can do whatever I want. Now, on to the anime. It starts with this woman being a man-eater. Then Jason from Friday the 13th shows up, and yes, his name is literally Jason, and he tells her to suck his dick, but she refuses and he starts attacking her with some tentacle porn shit and she eats out. Sayonara! We cut to these 2 dudes talking about girls and how to get laid, and their names are Kaneki and Hide. Hide, being a great wingman that he is, tries to hook up Kaneki with this girl Toka. Oh, that's hot! Who is the best girl in the series, but Kaneki has his eyes for this bitch, Rize.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Then we jump to them going through a date and Kaneki confesses his feelings for the bitch in this sketchy alleyway. It's a trap! But Rize shows her true colors for being a femboy and tries to fuck Kaneki in the ass with her tentacles. With the power of luck, the ropes gave out and these giant building beams fall out and she died. Then he wakes up in the hospital because the doctor saved him by swapping his liver and the bitch's liver.
It's liver lover, boy.
Then he goes home and he hears about the news about ghouls having no taste buds towards regular food. And he has this existential crisis and tries to eat, but he ends up vomiting all around his apartment. So now, I think this is the perfect chance to simplify things here with a whiteboard of knowledge. So, Kaneki has turned into a ghoul. They have Sharingan eyes when they start to release their tentacle powers and they are called Kagune. Every ghoul has a unique Kagune, and apparently, Kaneki possesses the strongest and the rarest Kagune, and everybody is dying to kill him because of this. Okay, end of simplification. Then he wanders around the city trying to find something to eat until he finds this alleyway where Jeffrey Dahmer is eating. Then this dude shows up and kills Jeffrey Dahmer and also tries to kill Kaneki for trespassing his hunting grounds. Then the girl shows up and saves the day and scares the bully 4 Eyes away. Then she offers him a hand, literally a hand. But he refuses because he wouldn't be a human anymore if he eats it. And all of this is happening while the meme song is playing. Toka then shoves it into his mouth for a delicious meal. Yummy! She then beats the shit out of him for being a pussy and said, the worst thing that a ghoul is a hungry ghoul because they devour everything and they're hard to stop. So eat this while you still haven't lose yourself. And the old man bartender stops her and brings Kaneki back to the shop and he lets him drink some coffee. And he explains that coffee is the only food that both humans and ghouls can enjoy. Toka asks the manager on why he helped him. And the manager tells him that he felt bad because he was lied about the bitch. And he also explains that he's the kid who dated the bitch and was rescued by transferring her organs to him. Kaneki goes home and he is having hallucinations like this.
Leave me alone!
Then he meets up with his best friend and goes to this guy's apartment. Coincidentally, it's the guy who Toka scared away. Then he buys some regular food and flexes on Kaneki on how to blend in with the humans. Then the douchebag kicks Hide. And he beats Kaneki to a pulp and said, that's a 100 IQ move right there. Pretending to be his best friend and you're going to eat him raw later. Too bad, I'm the one who's going to eat him raw later after I kill you. There's nothing gay about the statement that I've just said, and I was just simplifying what he said. Anyway, through the power of flashback and friendship, Kaneki unleashes his tentacles and beats the shit out of 4 Eyes. Then he proceeds to having an Akira syndrome again, where the bitch keeps saying, look, he's unconscious. Look how delicious his meat is. Fuck, that sounded gay, man. Kaneki almost gave in to temptation, but the best girl shows up and saves him and brings him back to the coffee shop. Then the manager explains to him that he's a unique ghoul because he's half human and he's the only one who can end ghoul racism. And Hide heard all of this. The next episode opens up with this doctor hiding his family to this white suit guy who is clearly Jason, but we'll call him Dolph Lundgren from now on so that we can avoid confusion.
I cannot be defeated.
Then we cut to Kaneki practicing on brewing a coffee and the old man human explains that he wants to help helpless ghouls and wants to befriend humans. His best friend shows up in the coffee shop and says goodbye immediately. And Toka warns Kaneki that he will kill him if he knows about the ghoul's secret, which they already knew. Then the mother and daughter shows up and they let them in to see the old guy. Then Toka warns Kaneki to stay away from the guys with suits and briefcase. And we cut to the guys with suits and briefcase, and they are the special police force to fight the ghouls. And they are having a meeting to find the big boss ghoul Jason from Friday the 13th, aka Dolph Lundgren. Then this guy said, "I'm Amon, I'm the good guy in this anime, and I will stay in area 20 because I know Jason is there." Then this guy agrees and starts the operation. Then we cut to Kaneki and this guy collecting corpse at a crash site for some food. Then they go to a shop to get his iconic mask. Kaneki talks to the kid and gets close. Then this gay looking dude barges in the cafe.
Gay!
And his name is Tsukiyama. He flirts for a bit with Kaneki, and the best girl warns him about joining his gay army. Then we cut where the gay stalk Kaneki and invites him for a date. And he accepts it. Then Kaneki was summoned by the white-haired guy to train him for self-defense, and he tells him to meet him at the basement every week for training. Then they go to the secret underground bar for ghouls, where this redhead bitch was fascinated by Kaneki having a one-eye Sharingan. Then she proceeds to explain that when a human and a ghoul shags each other, it's impossible for the baby to live because of genetic problems, and it's a rare case for Kaneki having a one-eye Sharingan because of the organ transplant he received from the bitch. Then Kaneki asks, how did the organ transplant work when ghouls and humans have genetic problems which prevents humans from surviving? Well, you see, Rize may be born half human and half ghouls. That's why the transplant worked, and her death was kinda sus, because someone was already planning an assassination on her, just like JFK and Abraham Lincoln. Then Kaneki's master stops the bitch for sharing too much conspiracy theories. Then we cut to Kaneki having a date with the gay. Then we skip that because they just talk about the bitch Rize and the gay having an orgasm.
I got a boner!
We jump where Kaneki was invited to the gay's house and he drinks some coffee, but it was a setup all along.
You triggered my trap!
To this Ghoul Gladiator Fight Club shit where all of these rich Ghoul morons watch, and the host of the event is the gay,
Are you not entertained?
where he exposed Kaneki for being a ghoul and having a smell like human. Then Pudge comes out and the fight begins.
Boy! Fresh mate!
Kaneki runs and stumbles because the drug in the coffee starts affecting. Pudge catches him, but he uses his one-eye Sharingan and shocks all the rich ghoul morons. Then the gay saves him because he's special.
Disgusting!
We then cut to Kaneki seeing the bully getting bullied, and he helps him back to his house, and this human girl comes out and gets worried. She talks to Kaneki and he explains how the body of a ghoul works. Then he goes home to find some old meat, but the bitch gets kidnapped by the gay, and he left a letter. Then the bully gets worried and goes along with Kaneki to rescue his sleeping beauty in this old church. Then the gay said, "Here's your dinner, boy. I need you to eat this bitch to fatten you up and cook you like a delicious pork belly."
That belly of pork is gonna almost melt in your mouth.
The fight starts and the pair got their asses done by the gay. But then, the best girl shows up and helps the fight. The gay starts using his tentacle porn power and beats the shit out of them, including the four eyes where he tries to save his bitch. And with the power of blood-sucking friendship, Kaneki lets Toka drink his blood and uses her Super Saiyan Mangekyo Sharingan. The fight continues and she beats the gay by cutting his arm with the help of four eyes. Then Toka tries to kill the bitch because she knows about them being a man-eater. But Four Eyes shields his body, and the bitch tells how beautiful Toka is and she runs away like a tsundere. Then we cut to the coffee shop where Four Eyes starts working. Then the kid says, "I need my dad. When is he coming back with the milk?" And she ran away. And the MILF explains to Kaneki that her father was a good man. And we cut to her father being pounded by Jason, aka Dolph Lundgren.
I cannot be defeated.
Then the two police dudes shows up to fight him. Then he plays with them for a bit and escapes like a wild Pokemon. Then they kill the doctor for fighting back. Then we cut to the mother and daughter shopping around the city, and the girl said, "I smell dad that he brought some milk. He's coming back with the milk." Then she runs to this alleyway where the two police officers are expecting her.
Hello there.
Then the MILF uses her tentacle power to let her child escape. Kaneki stumbles with the kid and he tries to save the MILF, but she died by the power of her husband used by this badass old man. The pair goes back to the coffee shop and everyone mourns. Then Toka plans a JFK assassination on the police officer.
Enemy spotted.
And the badass old man saves his partner to stop the assassination. He beats the shit out of Toka using the doctor's power and she runs away.
Bye, bitch!
Kaneki notices her wound and says, "Hey, if you ever need me, I'm here." Then the pair start scouting and planning for the assassination part 2. But badass old man was also aware of their movements. And finally, Kaneki receives his iconic mask from the gay emo Ghoul.
Oh my god! Wow!
We then cut to the kid smelling the scent of her mother. Toka noticed that she's gone and she searches for her along with Kaneki. The dumbass kid finds her mother's fresh meat while Kaneki noticed the police chasing Toka and he holds him back while Toka continues to search. Toka finds the dumbass but we know that it's an ambush where the badass old guy is waiting. Then the fight begins where we jump back and forth to Kaneki versus police dude and Toka versus the badass old guy. Kaneki lets the police officer abuse him just like in real life. On the other hand, Toka was also struggling because the badass uses 2 weapons coming from both parents of the kid. Kaneki tries to convince the police guy that he doesn't want to kill him. He was left with no choice and beats his neck so that he can use his Sharingan powers. He knocks out the police guy and says, "Get the fuck out, man. I don't want to kill you. I don't want to go to jail." We jump back to Toka and the dumbass where they were about to get killed. Then the dumbass kid unlocks her combined tentacle powers, coming both from her parents, and she cuts the old man's hand. She then beats him to a pulp and it buys Toka some time to finish him off.
I'm dying. Help me.
Then we cut back to Kaneki having an Akira moment. He was about to lose control and stabs his master right in the chest, and he gave him some fresh meat to regain his sanity. The group then escaped the sewers where the police guy cries because his master died. Then they go back to their daily miserable lives in the coffee shop. Then Kaneki goes to the underground Ghoul bar, where he shared his thoughts to the hot Ghoul, where they talk about Kaneki and his first bitch and other stuff. Then the redhead suggested that he needs to visit the 11th ward to know more about the bitch's past. As he goes home, he was pickpocketed by this interesting character. Then he tells this to his best friend, and he slightly hinted that he knows about them being a Ghoul by talking about this book. Then we cut to the police station where Arnold was given a new partner. We cut back to the coffee shop where Toka is having an existential crisis.
Who am I? What am I?
And reminisce about her family. And the pair proceeds to talk about them both being orphans. We then jump to this scene where Hide overhears these ghouls talking about Rize, aka Kaneki's bitch. Then we get a shot of this blue-haired dude committing a mass murder and also talks about Kaneki's bitch. And he is Toka's brother, I believe. The next episode starts with this ghoul infiltration in a local police station. And we get a glimpse of these 2 unknown characters. Then we jump back to the old man bartender and Kaneki's master, where they visit this mass murder site and talks about the bad ghouls and their leader, the One-Eyed King. We jump back to the coffee shop where this delinquent ghoul asks Kaneki about the manager and his bitch. Then he warns him about the ghouls trying to kill Rize. Then Toka's brother and Dolph Lundgren shows up.
Surprise, motherfucker!
He noticed that Kaneki smells like Rize's pussy and beats the shit out of him, slamming his head in every furniture, just like that scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Toka's brother also kicked Toka's ass, and Dolph Lundgren proceeds to kidnap Kaneki. We cut back to the police headquarters where they are planning an all-out raid in Ward 11. We cut back to the coffee shop where old man bartender gathers them all, and they plan to rescue Kaneki along with the help of gay Gordon Ramsay.
Look at me in the eyes! Not as pissed as I am!
Then we cut to Kaneki being tortured by Dolph Lundgren, Higurashi style. On the other hand, the police are preparing for the raid in Ward 11. The 3-way raid of good ghoul, bad ghoul, and police finally begins.
FBI, open up!
Where the femboy starts being a badass, followed by the team coffee shop. Action-packed scenes happens everywhere, and we can also see Arnold flexing his new weapon given by the badass old man. Then finally, the One-Eyed King finally shows up. Then the torturing continues and flashback happens. Then more torture and then more flashback. Then more torture, but this time, Dolph Lundgren finds out that the sassy bakas are trying to help Kaneki, and they both die like Romeo and Juliet. And the bitch keep appearing and says, "Nanana, everything's your fault. You could have saved all of them if you weren't a pussy. Become one with me and kill Dolph Lundgren." Then he accepts the bitch's deal and devours her in his dreams. And the iconic meme happens.
turned off.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening!
He breaks free from the torture chair, then Unravel starts playing. Then he fights Dolph Lundgren. He beats the shit out of him and Uno reverse cards him by letting him count to 1000 but backwards. And he eats him. And that's the end of Season 1. This anime gets a 69 emo out of a 420 depression.